Hi, yogis. Hey, it's Catherine, and I woke up this morning with a bit of stiff back, stiff knee, and I thought I'd do an easy flow this morning and post it out on my YouTube channel because sometimes just moving helps. So that's what we're going to do this morning. So find yourself in a comfortable spot, and let's do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of flexing and getting the body warmed up for this little quick flow. And before we get started, I wanted to read this to you. You know what matters? Hope, kindness. You know how that spreads? Through you. You're the hope of others. Your kindness too. Share that today. Don't forget. Okay. So we're going to come into a seated position. Just a little bit of flexing, getting the body warm. Find yourself in that seated spot. The shoulders rolling up and down and back. And let your sits bones be very, very heavy into the earth. Pull the chest back a little bit so you're sitting taller. You can close your eyes. That's okay. And take a breath in. And let a breath go. And as you're breathing in, we're doing that scan through the body, just checking in, seeing how things are feeling. And as you exhale, let go of anything that no longer serves you. It's such a nice feeling to be able to do. And breathe in that joy and that gratitude. And you exhale, let it go. Filling up the cup of others. And breath in through the nose. And out through the nose. Nice big long breaths, just slowing things down. And out. 2 more. Just making space, creating space, identifying it as you exhale within you. This last breath in, make it a good one, nice and big. Notice how that breath is a little bit slower, a little longer as you exhale. Yeah, okay. And nice and slowly, let's bring those hands up high overhead. We're going to palm together and exhale, bring them into your heart center. Do this 2 more times. Breathing in, reaching up. Then we exhale, hands come into our heart center. Last time, big breath in. Just imagine you're scooping all that joy and that kindness and love. And exhale right into your heart center. Here, set your intention, your dedication to your practice. Always. Maybe it's just kindness today. Kindness to you. So that you can help others with their journey. All right. And when you're ready, just gently press those hands high overhead. Your gaze follow your hands and open them up. And just imagine the light and the love and the goodness. Just kind of floating around and just landing where it needs to within you. Yes, that is so good. Swirl those shoulders up and down and back. Okay, and find stillness. Make sure that you're seated. I want you to bring that left hand to the top of the right thigh and the right hand behind you. Spread those fingers nice and wide. Push them flat into the earth. Pushing that arm and elbow in as close to your back as you can. Kind of helps you lift up. And we're going to exhale. Turn and look over that right shoulder. Stay nice and strong, lifting up. Exhale, twist. Just loving that back and those hips. Shoulders too. 1 more breath in. 1 more breath out. and slowly bring yourself back into center. Let the fingers return to the tops of the knees. Roll those shoulders 2 or 3 times. Okay? Just lubricating the joints. What I'm going to do is go to the other side. So the right hand to the top of the left knee, left thigh, and that left hand is right behind you, just pushing it in nice and close. Just another kickstand, another spine, sitting tall here, lifting up. Exhale, turn and look over that left shoulder. We breathe in. Exhale, turn and look over that left shoulder one more time. Breath in and out. Just feeling it. Feels so good. Nice and slowly bring yourself back into center. What I'm going to do is walk the fingers just to the fronts of the knees and just let the shoulders kind of squeeze together. And as you're doing this, you're just going to roll your spine nice and long away from you, bringing that chin in toward your chest. I'm feeling a little bit of a seated cat, right? And then as you breathe in, just kind of pull yourself nice and strong and straight, lifting up, maybe pushing the chest a little bit through that elbow area and bringing the head up. Rolling the hips forward, belly button, the eyes go to the sky, finding a seated cow. Exhale nice and easy, roll back into that seated cat. Okay, and remember that we can find these cat and cow positions in just about any place. Sit in a car, standing in the grocery as you push the cart. Inhale, bring yourself forward nice and easy into that seated cat. This is seated cow. One more time, back into the cat. Nice and slow. Yeah. And last time, just bring yourself forward. Just kind of closing it out into that seated cow. And then bring yourself back into center. And then just gently open the arms nice and wide. Like this is the biggest fish you caught. Yeah. Stretching, pulling the shoulders back. And just gently wrap the arms. Fingers to shoulders, giving yourself a squeeze. We're going to open up the arms nice and wide. One more time. And then alternate. So top hand is now on bottom. Just giving yourself a little bit of love here. Opening up. Alternating. Just switching upper and lower hands. Last time. Nice and big. Just finding a little bit of flex with that spine. Yeah. Feels good. Okay. Give yourself a hug. That's from me to you. Okay? All right. Bring your fingers to the tops of your knees, and we're going to find our way onto our mat. If you have a couple blocks around and you'd like to use them, you can. We're going to have them up on the top of our mat. Cats are optional. Charlotte decided to join us this morning. Okay, today. Thanks, Char. Always appreciate your help. She's a good, encouraging cat. So we're going to find our way into tabletop. Now, if you need a blanket under your knees, go ahead and do that. I'm going to opt out on that this morning, or it's not even morning now. It's actually into the noontime. So we're just going to do it. But I'm going to have it close just in case I change my mind. All right? So got my hands spread nice and wide. Finding that little tabletop. My knees are underneath my hips, and the legs are scooched out behind me. The tops of the feet are just resting nice and gentle onto the mat. All right. And just feeling the hands deeply into the mat. And I'm just going to squeeze and soften and let my shoulder blades flatten, bringing the chin in toward my chest and lengthening that long spine. Feels so good. Just a tabletop. All right. And maybe you want to find some cow by pushing the belly down and raising the hips and the head and the shoulders. And in exhale, find that cat. Just seeing how this feels different from a seated posture. Okay. Flex the fingertips too as you move into your cow, just to make sure the wrists are getting a little bit of love. And maybe back into the cat. Big full breaths as you move in and out of these asanas. Yeah, last time. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to do is drop down onto our forearms. Just walk the hands out just a little bit further out toward the top of your mat. Elbows now rest underneath your shoulders. Maybe they're just a little wider. Okay, we're just leave those hips up high. I'm starting to maybe walk the hands out just a little bit further toward the top of the mat, finding a little bit of a melting heart. Just exactly what it sounds like. We're bringing the heart down into the mat. This is also called puppy dog, because our tailbone is nice and high. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And what I'm going to do is because, like I said, my low back was kind of cranking at me this morning. I'm just going to move forward on my knees and find some little circles over to the left. And then back up into center and over to the right. Just being very mindful of how my body is feeling today. Okay? Just allowing a little bit of stretching, a little bit of love. Going to each side 2 or 3 times. Okay? And then also mindful of how those shoulders are feeling. Yeah. Everything's connected. Okay? And then when you finish both sides, bring yourself back into center. And we're going to walk those hands out just a little bit further. We're going to find a thread the needle. Okay, so what we're going to do is just kind of keep that left hand nice and grounded. My hand is almost to the top of my mat. And I'm going to push into that left elbow and bring the right hand up. Okay, and threading the needle, I'm just going to slide this right hand down underneath the left side of my body, dropping my right shoulder and cheek down onto the mat. And maybe extending out that left hand, finding a little bit of a triangle motion here. On the left side, eyes are maybe closed or looking over at that right hand. Okay? Now you can stay right here if you'd like, or if you want to add on, you can also lift that left hand and bring it into a half bind down in your low right back. It's a nice stretch, a nice opening for the shoulders and the hips. All right? And you always can just drop it back down when you're ready to come out. And everybody go ahead and bring that left hand down. If you took that modification, going to press into the hand and lift the right hand up and settling it back down onto the mat, onto the elbows, onto the cat. Nice and easy, just finding that little modified melting heart here, okay? Now we're going to do the right side. So I'm going to walk that right hand out. You are no help, cat. And we're going to do is lift the left hand up, finding that thread the needle on the right side, just kind of dropping the left shoulder down, left side of the face, and extending out that left arm, that left arm, nice and long out front. Your eyes are following. You can lift the elbow on the right side, finding a little more of a triangle here, right? And if you took that half bind by bringing the right hand up, down to the low left back, just a little more love to the shoulders. Take a breath in here and out. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and bring that right hand back out to the top of the mat. Always an option there. All right, we're going to press into the right hand and lift that left hand up high and dropping it back down onto the mat. Letting the hands just kind of reach, maybe tapping together. And if you'd like, you could find a little bit of a child's pose, pushing your hips back toward your heels. Your knees are separated as much as you need. And remember, too, that everybody's child's pose looks a little different, even on different days. No worries there, okay? Depends what your mobility is, what you can do. If you have one of those blocks, you want to put it under your forehead or your chest, just to make the connection with the earth and body. And that's good, too. All right? Maybe flutter your fingers. Take a breath in and out. And then nice and slowly, let's go ahead and bring ourselves back up into that tabletop. Here, I'd like you to make sure you have your blocks close by, if you're going to use them. Okay? All right. And we're going to find that tabletop, and we're going to go skyward. Yes, skyward is always good. So the knees are under the hips, hands are spread nice and wide under the shoulders. And we're going to find that beautiful tabletop. I want you to roll over your toes and hoist your hips and find down dog. Okay, now, if down dog is not your friend and you're going, oh my gosh, Kathryn, I can't do this, stay down on your knees. You can still do some of these postures from a tabletop. Okay, that's fine too. But here I want you to do is just to really focus on your posture. So let's drop back down onto those knees, finding that tabletop one more time. So the wrists and elbows are under the shoulders, and the knees are under the hips, and the legs are nice and long behind the shins. The toes tuck under. And we just kind of power up, push those hips up high, and find a nice, beautiful upside down V. Okay? Now, if you need to, walk your feet out just a little bit. Okay? Don't worry about the heels being down on the ground. That's not necessary. But what we want to do is just kind of feel a nice big stretch through the low back, the backs of the legs, the backs of the knees. Start to push your hips up high and really feel the chest bow down in between. Come back toward the belly and the thighs. Maybe your ears kind of tap on the inside of the forearms. Okay? Flex those fingers. All right? And then we're going to walk our dog just by alternating the knees and pushing the opposite heel down. Just a little bend through the knee, flexing. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. Okay? And when you can, both sides, just bring it back into stillness. And we're going to inhale, bring those heels up. And exhale, just bring those knees down. And nice and slowly, just kind of walk toward the middle of your mat. Okay? Finding a little bit of a forward fold. Yeah. All right. So my feet are hip distance apart. I'm going to measure by sliding my fingers, my hands in between the toes. And what I want you to do is just to take your elbows and drop them down onto your forearms, onto the thighs. Okay, so the forearms onto the thighs. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, so this is kind of a modified supported forward fold. All right, especially if the back is cranky. Maybe it's attached to the hamstrings, sciatic, SI. Lots of things are all connected. All right, so just resting the elbows, the forearms on the thighs. You can give yourself a lot of support to build strength and build confidence. Okay, so if you want to stay right here, you can bring those hands in front of you yourselves, just kind of hands to hand, and then gently find a little bit of swing. Okay, maybe it feels good to start to straighten out those legs a little bit, still keeping the forearms on the thighs, and your sits bones start to go up, but you're still leaning forward, finding that little bit of a forward fold. Okay, now the legs aren't straight, so the hamstrings are going to be happy here. And the legs aren't straight, and the low back is going to be a little bit more supported, right? Now, if this is good, and you're feeling fine this morning, or this afternoon, or evening, whenever you're doing this, just go ahead and leave that left arm on the left thigh. And I want you to drop the right arm down. So the arm is just an extension of the shoulder, hanging almost right in front of your face. And then find some nice, easy circles with that right arm. Okay, go both directions. And they can be big circles or little circles, okay? And that left forearm is still supporting you, all right? Okay, and then just slow it down and bring that right forearm back to the right thigh. Kind of reset. We're going to do the left side. Same little love. You might even find that left leg getting a little bit straighter. Okay, that's all right. It works, right? Yeah, okay. And then nice and easy, find stillness, bring that forearm back onto the thigh, and maybe interlace your fingers. And if it feels good, you want to try maybe straightening out those legs a little bit more. Keep the body over the thighs. Let that head hang heavy. Maybe give it a nice little no nod and a yes shake. Okay? And then nice and slowly, we're going to start to roll ourselves up. Bend the knees just a bit. Start to bring yourself up into a standing pose. Okay? And as you bring those arms, maybe they trail up the thighs. You roll your shoulders up and down and back. And you made it up into standing. Yeah, it feels good. Oh, I'm creaky. All right, I'm just going to do is move my arms just a little bit. Maybe finding a little bit of tapping, widening my feet, tapping opposite hips, moving, just allowing the body a nice, easy, careful movement, controlled. Yeah, controlled. It always feels good when we do that. And a little bit of movement with the arms, and up over the head, and maybe even as you're moving and just shifting the weight, maybe bring those hands nice and long behind you, and interlace them, and maybe just do a little bit of a shoulder rinse. Okay, moving the head. You just do what feels good. Okay, but start to bring yourself back in to stillness. And if you were like me and you widened your stance just a little bit, that's all right. Now here, what I want you to do is find yourself in the middle of the mat. Okay. Now I've got my mat angled here. What I want you to do is just find yourself nice and square. Feet are right under the hips. You flutter those toes. And push push the toes back down. And then just draw the energy up your legs, up into the belly, up into the shoulders, comes down the fingers. Oh, yeah, that feels good. We're going to bend the knees just a little bit and swing those arms in front of us and bring the hands up high overhead, okay? And then gently just let them drift back down by your hips. And cross them in front of you, bend the knees and sweep them up high. Sitting nice and tall, big breath in there, and exhale. And then just bend the knees a little bit. Don't worry about the cricks and the noises, and sweep those arms up one more time, nice and high. Feels good. Maybe a little twist. A little bit of movement like a flower in the wind. Yeah? Okay. I'm going to bring our hands down next to our hips. Make sure those feet are under your hips. And we're sweetly going to bring the left hand up high. Just push it up high and let that right hand come down our right side body. And just find a little bit of a half moon here. I want you to keep that left shoulder up and back. Kind of maybe look up at the left elbow. Lots of energy flowing through that left hand as you draw the right hand down your side body. And inhale back up into center, both hands up overhead. Move your wrists and fingers. Flutter them around, okay? Leave the right hand up and let that left hand just trail down your side body. And again, pushing that top shoulder back. Keep the waist nice and straight. Eyes toward the elbow. Left hand trailing down the left side body. And you're breathing here. All right, nice and slowly bring yourself back up into center, moving the wrists and the fingers. Okay, and what we're going to do is bring our hands to our low back. Okay, now your pinkies are going to kind of touch. All right, and we're going to spread those hands super wide so they are supporting our low back. All right, and when you do this, the pinkies touch, the elbows naturally want to start to work their way closer together. So take a peek at your feet, make sure they're hip distance. All right, and we're going to push the feet in, draw it up the legs, draw it up the belly. And as you get to the belly, just start to support your low back and push it forward. We're finding a supported back bend. All right, and just look up toward the ceiling, toward the sky. Walk those elbows in a little bit. Take a big breath in here. Feels so good. Nice and easy. Inhale, bring yourself back up into center. Bring the hands up high. Want to bend the knees and bring the forearms down onto the thighs. Finding that little supported forward fold. All right, maybe making it a full forward fold by finding a rag doll or a dangle, grabbing opposite elbows, or maybe behind the knees, or just hanging out there, the arms on the thighs. All good, right? Give that head a no nod. Give that head a yes shake. Yeah, okay. And then nice and easy, I want you to bring your fingers down to the mat and walk your hands out toward the top, and your feet back toward the back, finding a down dog. Now, if you're not sure if you're right at the spot, drop to the knees. Make sure you've got that tabletop. Then tuck and bounce back up into down dog. Feels beautiful here, okay? We're going to inhale, bring the right foot up high. And then drop that right heel over to the left glute. Just find a little bit of movement, okay? And then straighten it up. And step that foot in between the hands. Okay, here might your blocks come into play. Okay, scooching them back, letting your hands rest on those blocks. That right foot is forward, the left foot is behind you. I want you to drop down onto your left knee. Okay, and walk that right foot up and out just a little bit. Really a nice big stretch here. You don't have to have the blocks. If you want them, they're there for you. Right? Finding a nice lunge. And then gently, we're going to move back into a little bit of a hurdle. So you're just going to shift your weight so your hip goes back toward that left heel. You're going to lift the right toes just a little bit. Okay, stay over that front leg. Keep your chin up. And then nice and easy, move forward. Finding that low lunge one more time. Lift up. Okay. Now with your hands either on the block or the mat, tuck the left toes. Straighten up that left leg. And shake out that right leg. Okay? And settle it down, finding your down dog. Okay, now I'm going to do this without my blocks on the other side. Okay, just to get them out of the way. So we're in down dog. Walk the dog. And then nice and easy, lift the left foot up. Bring that left heel over to the right glute and just find some movement. Nice and slow. Yeah, okay. Straighten up that left toes. Maybe widen your hands a bit and step the left foot forward, dropping down onto that right knee. Just a nice little lunge here. Walk that left foot up and out. Feel a nice big stretch on that right hip. Oh, that feels so good. Okay. Now my hands are on the mat. If you chose to use the blocks, you can. Okay. Just wanted to show you here. Right. And then we're just going to do is move back into that hurdler's position. I'm leaning over my left thigh, bringing the left toes up. Keep the chin up. Nice big stretch through that low back that was cranky today. All right. And then move forward, rolling up onto the left toes, moving up, lifting the chin. Yeah, big stretch through that right leg, the hamstring. Not so much the hamstring, so much as the hip flexor. And one more time back into that hurdle. Yeah, that feels good. And forward. Right, hands on the mat, on your block. Go ahead and tuck the right toes. Straightening out that right leg and lift the left toes up high, shaking it out and settling it down. Nice and easy. Down dog. Okay, now I want you to move forward onto your knees. Find that tabletop. Bring your elbows in nice and close. And draw yourself all the way down onto your belly button. Let your chin touch. Your elbows are right under your shoulders. Your legs are nice and long out behind you. The chin is down on the mat. All right. And we're going to inhale, come up into a baby cobra. Leave the fingers nice and wide under the shoulders, lifting up, stretching to that front of the body. Beautiful work. Nice and slowly drop down onto the chin. Keep the elbows in close. We're going to push back into that tabletop, back into the child's pose, and just reach it out. Okay. Now here comes the fun part. We're going to scoop forward. Just keep nice and close to the mat. Come into our belly. The elbows are close. Hands are right under the shoulder. Lift up into that baby cobra. Flat feet on the earth. All right. Bring the chin back down. And then just kind of move yourself back into that tabletop and flow it back in to a child's pose. Reaching. Nice and slowly moving forward. Keep the elbows in close. Hands are spread wide. We'll drop down onto our belly. Tapping the chest and the chin. Lifting up into that baby cobra. We're dropping down onto the chin. Moving back into that tabletop and just slowly flowing back into that child's pose. Last time, we're going to move forward. Keep the elbows in close. Spread those fingers nice and wide. Dropping down. Elbows are just brushing by the side of the body. Lifting up into baby cobra. Nice and slowly. Dropping your chin. And finding your way into baby, into that child's pose. Yeah. Beautiful work. Take a big breath in here. And let it go. Maybe move the forehead a little bit side to side. I'm going to stack my fists under my forehead. Since the microphone has a tendency to get in the way there, okay? Just giving my third eye some love. Beautiful work. Okay. And whenever you're ready, nice and slowly, move yourself back into your tabletop. Drop down onto those sits bones. Gonna bring our feet out into the front of us. Okay. The knees are to the sky. And what you to do is wrap your arms underneath your thighs. Kind of squeeze the arms. Let your belly and chest hang in between the knees. Take a big breath in and lengthen up that spine. Lift the chin. And then just gently exhale and draw the chin in toward your chest. And maybe find yourself just flexing that spine as you exhale. Big inhale, lean forward, finding that little bit of cat-cow motion. One more time. Nice and easy. Exhale. Okay, we're going to do it one more time. Breathe in nice and big. And we exhale. Bring ourselves back into neutral. Give it head a little bit of a no nod. Give it head a yes shake. All right. And then gently bring yourself into a seated position. Bring your hands to the tops of your thighs. Roll the shoulders up and down and back. And bring our left hand to the top of our right knee and our right hand behind us, nice and close to the body, lifting up. Exhale, turn and twist. Breathing in, exhale out. One more time, big breath in. Exhale, twist. Bring yourselves back into center. The right hand comes to the left knee and the left hand behind us, nice and wide on the ground with that palm. Lift in, exhale out. Breath in, exhale, twist. One more time, breath in, exhale, twist. Nice job. Bring yourself back into center. Let's close those eyes. Calm that breath. Let your hands just rest softly in your lap. And the shoulders relax. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Big breath in and out. You know what matters? Hope, kindness. You know how that spreads? Through you. You are the hope for others. You are kindness too. Share that today. And bring our hands up high overhead. And we exhale those hands into our heart center. You can take a Shavasana anytime you want. I'm going to close this up. Big breath in. Scoop those hands up high overhead. I'm going to exhale, bring them back into heart center. One more time. Hands high. Back to our heart. Namaste means the light in me honors the light in you. And I do. I honor the light, love, beauty, truth, the kindness in you. Because it's in me too. And with these things shared, there is nothing different or distant between us. We are the same. And thankfully one. From my very grateful heart to yours. Namaste. Give yourself permission. Give yourself 3 or 4 or 5 minutes in a Shavasana if you need it. I hope that your back's feeling better and you enjoyed today's practice. Be kind, be light, and be love, and know that you are missed. And I'll see you soon. Bye.